Hey everyone, all right, so this is day 3. We are here at Sea Otter, and this is your Sea Otter coverage from BIKEPACKING.com, supported in part by Redshift, right behind me here. All right, so in this video, we are going to talk about a little bit of what I covered in day 2, as well as, of course, day 3. Let's have some fun. All right, hey everyone, I'm here with Ryan from Praxis, and they've got a pretty sweet new gearbox to show us. Tell us all about it.
So this is our prototype gearbox right here we've been working on for the last several years. This one is currently set up as a 4-speed. It was originally targeted towards the downhill market, so it has a range of around 200%, which is what you would see from a Shimano Saint or SRAM DH7 group set. So that's why we targeted that at first. And it's got a pretty unique technology. So instead of using the standard spur gear drivetrain that you would see on the other gearboxes that exist, we stuck with chains. We know they work. We, as a company, have designed a lot of chain rings. And what we did is, the key part to this system is you have these clusters, and these clusters have a solid center gear. And then around that center gear, you have the outer gear of a higher tooth count that's cut into 4 segments, or any number that we choose. 4 is what we found works the best. And as the chain is spinning in the gearbox, you have a chain wrap that runs about this in the bike. And what happens is we are able to actuate these segments of gears out of the chain line when the chain is not engaged. Then as you're riding, the chain, all it has to do is vertically fall up and down. So you don't have the inefficiency of cross-chaining or side loading of the chain.
It's always in the straight line.
Always in the straight line, which is pretty cool. Exactly, yeah. And we're using a smaller pitch industrial chain in here right now. Okay. We have plans to shrink it. That would involve some custom chains.
Got it. And that would maybe shrink the whole system?
Yeah, it would.
Tighten it up?
Yeah. And our combinations of gears we have, so you have 2 clusters working together. You have your primary shaft that comes in and a secondary shaft that's attached via chain. And with the combination of 2 of these, you get 4 gears. Okay. And you can add 1 more, and basically you get 8. It's 2 to the factorial of however many of these you have. So then technically speaking, you add a 4th one, you could get 16. Okay. Not that we need 16 gears, but the option's there. Right. We've experimented with some higher gear counts in the past. It works pretty well. It's just we weren't quite there with development on making that happen, but now that this is working, we can easily go ahead and improve upon that design.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. And where do you guys see this development process going? Where do you want it to go personally? Yeah. You're developing this.
Yeah.
So
let's see. So I personally come from a mountain biking background. I ride regular pedal bikes a lot, and I would really love to see this in an enduro bike. Okay. I think my next step personally is I'd like to see this with an 8-speed. Work on that, but I think the holy grail for a lot of people now that e-bikes are getting big is combine the both of them. Okay. So you're already doing some gear reduction in here with the different gears. So I think the holy grail of would be collaborating with a motor company to do the gear reduction and all in one system. Awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Anything else coming out from Praxis, or what do you guys got going on?
We always got some fun stuff coming out.
Sweet.
Yeah. So stay tuned. You know.
Cool.
It'll come around.
Awesome. Thanks. Brother.
And I guess one more fun thing about the chain gearbox setup here is because you can program. It's all electronic. Yeah. You can gear sweep the entire drivetrain in 1 click. Say you get to the bottom of the hill and you got a punchy climb. Instead of having to mash through all the gears on your cassette, you could shift from gear 1 to 4 in 1 shift. And then when you go to an 8 or a 12, you could do the same thing. Okay. And you can shift really fast. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah. All right, so I do want to take a quick break in coverage here to let you all know that this video is supported in part by Salsa Cycles. Salsa just launched a whole new lineup of full suspension mountain bikes designed for adventure by bike and built for the love of dirt. From their all-new Spearfish to 2 new Blackthorns, there's something here for almost any rider. All of these new bikes feature Salsa's efficient split pivot suspension and split pivot plus design approach for adaptable travel. And Salsa's signature cargo capacity makes any of them a good candidate for bike packing. So to learn a little bit more about Salsa and their new offerings, you can click on the card in the top right corner or also find the link in the description below. Hey everyone, so I'm here in the Norco booth and Alex is showing us the brand new Norco Search. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are super pumped, first of all, to be back in the gravel category. We never really left. We've been making gravel bikes since 2015, and before that, we've been deep in the cyclocross scene for a very long time. So, very happy to have gravel back in the line. This is 2025 Search. We are launching with both carbon and aluminum. For all of you carbon purists, we'll have 1x drivetrains. All of the bikes, carbon and aluminum, will have 50 mil tire clearance. So
great.
Very exciting out of the gate. This super slick little custom fender, super sleek, suspension corrected Geo.
Okay.
All specs come with a rigid fork, so you don't have to try to find a color-matched gravel fork later.
Love it.
Hey.
Yep.
And you can get your fork of choice when you want to go with your suspension option. And then from there, you've got fender integration on both the carbon and aluminum builds, so you'll have mounts on everything. This super slick little bridge here, you can remove it if you want to go super aero, if you want to keep those, you can. And then the little fender mounts here. On the aluminum bikes, for those of you who want to run racks, panniers, you will have that option. We will have rack mounts on those.
On the aluminum.
Also, on the aluminum,
Okay.
there will also be 3-pack mounts on aluminum.
Sweet.
We know how much people like to push the limits on 3-pack mounts on carbon forks, so we skipped that.
That's probably smart.
Yeah.
You got in-frame storage too?
In-frame storage. This is our first one. We're
Okay.
like super pumped for that. Very positive engagement. The engineering team, while they were designing this, spent a very long time making sure it was like very snug, very durable, and if you give it a feel, it has a nice click.
That's one of my like favorite things on bikes that are coming out recently. It's like it makes sense, especially like tools, and it's just less things on you.
Exactly.
Okay, so price point. This is pretty crazy. So tell us about price point.
Absolutely. You're going to have a lot of options here. We are one of those brands that really likes everybody of any budget to have access to our products. So yes, we're going to make the killer red 17-pound bike for your purist who's going for all-out performance. We want everybody to be able to have access to this, though. So we actually start at $9.99 for a flat bar build.
Okay.
Personally, I use that as like my bar bike.
$9.99. That's not
not
3
9
digits.
Yeah, 3, not 4.
Yeah.
So that bike, flat bar, 11-speed drivetrain, 1x11.
Awesome.
Super killer. Hydro brakes. Just everything you need, nothing you don't. And then from there, we'll have 2 aluminum builds, 2x. On the aluminum build, so you've got all your options there. For the 2x builds, for the aluminum, you'll have $14.99, and then I believe the next up is $17.99. So good options below 2 for aluminum bikes. And then carbon starts at $29.99. So for a GRX build, we'll do $29.99 for that. And then we have a carbon Apex Axis build at $33.99, which I think is the killer spec. That one at $33 is going to be pretty sweet.
And so that's 7 bikes. 8, 7. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And the frame, obviously. You want to do your own thing, make it yours. You obviously
aluminum frame too, or no? Just carbon?
Not aluminum for now.
Okay.
Just carbon.
Sweet. Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey everyone, so I'm back with Will from Cane Creek here, and I wanted to ask him a specific question about what an inverted fork, what the benefits are of an inverted fork, and well, what are they?
So, last year we introduced Invert for gravel bikes, and we went with the inverted design for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it is a smoother operating fork. So in a typical, or what we'll say conventional suspension fork design, the splash oil, the oil that lubricates the fork, sits at the bottom of the fork lowers, and the seal here and all those sliding surfaces can tend to dry out. So when you turn the fork upside down, gravity kind of works with you, and all of that lubricating oil can sit right against the wiper seal head. So overall, the fork can just move a little more freely and can be a little more sensitive. Additionally, with just 2 stanchion tubes and a through axle, the inverted design reduces the unsprung weight, the unsprung mass of the system.
Right.
And so there's ultimately less energy required to move the fork up and out of the way of a bump. So this just also makes it feel more sensitive and be a little more active. It's a little easier to service. because in this case, the invert seal heads thread into the upper tube using just a simple bottom bracket tool.
Yep.
So to do that oil change, which is as critical in a suspension fork as it is in your car, right? To do that oil change, you can just unthread these seal heads with a bottom bracket, and you can drain that old dirty oil and replace it with fresh oil. That's something we recommend about every 100 hours or annually, whichever comes first.
Yep.
And lastly, it just looks awesome.
It looks great.
The inverted, design gets rid of
it's come a long way
arch.
here.
Yeah, that's the first working prototype of the invert fork here that we kind of used for proof of concept.
Sure.
Make sure, does this thing actually work? And it's
quite heavy.
Definitely heftier, yeah.
So there might be some trickle down with the gravel invert.
That being said, we got some exciting things on display here. Sea Otter is always a fun time to see glimpses into the future of things that may yet come to be. So behind me here, we do have a super exciting, much larger inverted fork. What it is, what it does, and what it's for, I can't really disclose yet, but what I can say is we're super excited to be taking kind of what we've learned with the invert gravel fork and applying it to some other types of riding.
Investing in that inverted style fork. Cool. Anything else you guys want to share with us here?
Yeah, the next, I think, most exciting thing this year is a little bit of rider knowledge kind of upgrade.
Headsets, they're like, which one fits where? It's always so confusing.
Headsets they're simple components, but they're incredibly complex to understand. And bikes have not made it easy for us to have consistent standards. And so yes, the number one question that we get every single day is what headset goes in my bike.
Yep.
And while Cane Creek has been an industry leader of threadless headsets for 30 years, we haven't done the best job of creating a super streamlined way of figuring out that information. So that brings us to, this is a new guide that we've put together this year. We're calling it the Headset Code Breaker.
Yep.
And this is just simple, stepwise guide with a lot of visual aids that'll help you determine exactly what kind of headset goes in your bike, help you figure out this headset code, which is this sort of list of letters and numbers that identifies the specific headset specification. So yeah, that guide is something that is available free to riders everywhere. We have this digitally on our website.
Great.
We also have physical posters that we are trying to get out all over the world.
Shops and everywhere. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like knowledge is power and makes all of our lives easier. So that's one thing I am super excited about this year. It's a knowledge upgrade.
Cool.
If you will. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Will. Hey, I'm here in the Curious Creatures booth with Tasha, the founder, right?
Yep.
So Tasha, tell us about the brand. How old is it, and what do you all have here?
Yeah, so we're brand new.
Okay.
We've been around for like a year and a half. This
Sweet.
is only our second real spring season of selling.
Yeah.
And we're based in Bozeman, Montana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. And so men's and women's clothing. What's the inspiration behind what you produce here?
Yeah, so we launched with a lot of women's stuff, and we've been slowly expanding the men's line.
Yep.
And yeah, actually a lot of the inspiration is thanks to you guys. It's actually a very specific trip where I was traveling with my husband, and we were both in product at Patagonia, and we did a little bikepacking trip in Oaxaca. And the whole time we had always kind of been thinking about what would we really want in our kit, and I feel like bikepacking is a really good example of, because you're really only bringing your favorite things,
totally,
right?
Exactly. Maybe one piece of gear, one piece of one shirt, one short.
Yeah, so it was really okay, what would the short look like that I could bring on this trip where I'm riding for 3 days, and then I'm coming back to town and maybe going to an art museum or
that's fine.
walking around and eating some good food. And so that was really some of our shorts, like the Ramble Scramble short, which really are built for biking but cross over to all kinds of life.
What is your favorite item in this booth right now?
Yeah, I think I actually love the pant because there's tons of bike pants out there, but they're pretty heavy and kind of overbuilt, and ours is really lightweight. It has a great 4-way stretch fabric, super comfy waistband, and
Cool. So where can we find you?
We're mostly online now at
Okay.
wearecuriouscreatures.com. We're
Perfect.
starting to do some select specialty wholesale, but yeah, our website's the best place.
Awesome.
Or our Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey everyone, so I'm at the Salsa booth with Ethan, who helped design a bunch of their new bikes that were launched just a few days ago. Ethan, talk to us a little bit about the new lineup. Let's start with the Spearfish.
Sure. So the Spearfish is all new this year, redesigned as a dedicated platform, 120 millimeters of suspension, progressive geometry, multiple bottle fitment. We're really excited about its capabilities, designed for those grueling endurance races out there, AZT, Margie Gessick, and the like. We're really excited to bring that out. Moving up the line, we've got all new Blackthorn taking over for the Horse Thief space.
So no more Horse Thief.
No more Horse Thief.
Okay.
Blackthorn 125 now sits in that space.
Sweet.
125 millimeters of travel with a 140 fork, similar. More progressive updated geometry, still built around 29. Now fits 2 water bottles in the frame, and then is paired with the 145 travel Blackthorn frame, so you can swap between that 125 and 145 travel.
So that's what Blackthorn and Cassidy used to do.
Used to be paired together, and now
Okay.
we've re-bracketed that down to that trail and all mountain space, a space we feel like has maybe more overlap for the Salsa customer, where you're looking for an efficient, long distance riding trail bike in that 125 space, or a super capable bike for that really tech steep stuff in the 145 travel.
Awesome, sweet. Anything else in the pipeline for Salsa?
We're always working on exciting new stuff. Tune in, probably around this time next year. We've got some exciting stuff coming in gravel and E in that time frame. We also have Notch now in carbon in the lineup for this year. But yeah, we've got more stuff in the pipeline. We're excited to keep the train rolling. Yeah,
Appreciate you.
absolutely.
So I am at the Ortlieb booth with Ian, and he's going to show us some new Ortlieb stuff, which is exciting. What do we got?
We're going to start off with a brand new fixing system. It's
Okay.
a QL 2.2.
Okay.
So it's an update to our existing 2.1
Which has been
system.
around forever.
A long time.
Yeah.
Long time. And it's a great system. Nothing really wrong with it.
Okay.
But just because something's great doesn't mean we can't make it awesome.
Sure.
So what we've done is updated the top hooks here.
Mm-hmm.
Now they still have the same fit window, 16 millimeters down to 8 millimeters.
Okay.
But they no longer use sizing shims. The way they
okay.
work is there's a cam that you open, and then the hook can
Size
just adjust to whatever size you need, lock
Very
it
neat.
closed, away you go. So it's perfect if you have like a cargo bike and a gravel bike, say a 16 mil or a 10 mil.
Yep.
Just hot swap it between the two.
Cool.
One other great point, the weight capacity was also increased. So the 2.1 system is 9 kilos, and this is 12.5 kilos.
Okay.
So pretty big bump.
Sweet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
A great accessory that people have been asking for a long time as a way to lock your panniers to the bike. So we offer a keyed lock system now. It'll install on any QL2 load rail, so both of these items are reverse compatible.
Okay.
We offer it as a single key, or a single lock.
Yep.
And it's also offered as a pair that's keyed like.
Okay.
So if you have a pair of panniers,
right,
yep,
yep.
same key. That
Yep.
way you don't have to mess with it.
Sure. Very nice.
Very nice. Super happy about that, and I can't wait to update my personal pannier.
Yep.
The next thing I want to chat about is something called the Velo Pocket.
Okay.
And this is a really cool handlebar bag.
Yep.
It's 3 liters capacity. It uses a magnetic closure so you can get in
Sweet.
and out of it while you're cycling really easy. And comes with TPU straps, some foam blocks.
Yep.
Also comes with some compression straps so you could lash items to the outside.
Yep.
Some elastics that can go down to your fork crown or head tube. So it's a nice little simple burrito bag, slap it on your bike, but it has one other trick. It comes with a large band so you can wear it as a crossbody bag when you're
Sweet.
off the bike.
Like a shoulder bag or something.
It's my carry-on bag.
Awesome.
All my AirPods and
Very
snacks
nice.
go in there.
Yep. Very
Yeah,
nice.
I love it.
And fully waterproof, of course.
Fully waterproof, like everything we do, made in Germany.
Yep.
Yeah. And serviceable. If anything goes wrong, any of the modular components can be replaced.
Very nice.
We carry service parts for a decade after we phase out an item.
Okay.
And then all the fabrics are patchable. So if Murphy's along for the ride, we can help you out.
Right.
The last product I want to talk about,
This
I'm really
is
excited about.
Yeah.
This is called the Dry Pack. And the Dry Pack is a dual opening dry bag. It has daisy chains along either side, and that allows for the modular elastics, so you can change these little plastic keepers to any of the locations, or if you want to sanitize it, you could remove it entirely.
Yep.
It also comes with these O-strap racks. And these are a TPU strap that we're making in Heilsbronn.
Okay.
They have a 10mm hook on the base, so they nicely clip onto a 10mm load rail.
Yep.
They can work with any load rails less than 10 as well.
Okay.
You just want to make sure the straps are nice and tight.
Yeah.
But the TPU has a good amount of stretch to it, so it shouldn't be an issue. The dry bag itself also has an air purge valve.
Okay.
So as you're compressing everything, you can burp all the air out, close the valve, and it'll be a nice vacuum sealed brick that you're lashing down.
Yep.
So it should have good trail manners. It comes in 2 sizes,
Okay.
12 liters, and then on the bike over here, we have one that's 16 liters capacity.
Wow.
And then 2 colorways. This is the dark sand, and it's also in the black with orange accents.
Sweet.
Yep, the smaller size is $65, and then $75 for the larger size. So it's a really great price point also.
Awesome, yeah. Loving the dark sand colorway. It's a great addition.
Yeah, I appreciate it too.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys have in the works or that you want to share?
You know, there's plenty of things coming on.
Okay.
I want to talk about quick racks just to highlight them.
Sure.
They're a great product. We've had it in the lineup for a couple of years now, but it seems like we can't get them or keep them in stock.
They're popular.
They're very popular.
I've used them. They're useful.
Yeah. So generally the idea is it's a rack that you can remove from your bike very quickly. You can pop it on really quickly. And that way you don't have to fuss with tools or anything like that.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for sharing everything. Appreciate you.
Thanks for coming by, and thank you for watching.
Hey everyone, so I'm here with Jake from Apogee, and Jake, this is probably the most beautiful steel full sus bike that I've seen at the show at Sea Otter yet. Talk me through it.
Man, kind words, thanks. This is the Apogee One. It's our 140 mil steel full suspension trail bike. It's all handmade in the USA from all the machining and CNC that you see and the suspension module up through the welding and paint on the front and rear dual frame, we call it.
Okay.
It is our proprietary design. It's a linkage driven single pivot.
Okay.
And it's an awesome all-around trail bike.
Yeah, so talk us through this single pivot.
You bet. So yeah, it's linkage-driven single pivot, which means it is attached to like the knuckle. It's a big sort of aluminum piece that hits here.
Okay.
And it rotates up and down on that knuckle. So the rear end is floating around that pivot, and then the shock floats in the center of the module with either end being compressed by the front rocker or the rear knuckle in the back. It rides smooth like butter, we say.
Yep.
You get the rigidity and the free movement of the suspension because we're able to design everything in the pivots to be as smooth and rigid as possible, so the suspension moves really freely. And then that's attached to, of course, a steel rear end where you can get a little bit of the roll and wag and that trail hugging carve feel, as well as the vertical compliance that combined with the suspension and modern kinematics makes it a really, really smooth riding bike.
Awesome. Talk to us about this, you guys almost like flatten the top tube here.
Yeah.
What does that add to the ride quality?
Yeah, it adds the lateral stiffness and control that you want in the front. We form the tube ourselves. We have our own press and die sort of situation that we've designed. And the idea is like a lot of steel mountain bikes, you know, sometimes it flexes a little more than you want. And so we really tried to make this bike give you all the best sort of ride qualities of steel, but without the compromises. Another thing we notice in the ride feel is that the stiffness around the bottom bracket and the control underfoot that you get in corners, because this aluminum whole package here in our free float module is aluminum. It's super stiff, and so you get a ton of like direction and control underfoot in the corner that you don't see as much with a bike that has a normal steel bottom bracket.
Sure. Talk us through your components here. You got some neat little parts on here.
You bet. So of course we have wolf tooth finishing kit, up and down, pedals, clamps, bottom bracket, grips, and all those pieces. We love working with wolf tooth because they're also CNC and machined in the US. And then Intend jumped on board with us, which we also think is such a cool fit. Another company that's dialed in on engineering and precision and just like really deep on the the machining of it all. So we got Intend Hero fork and a 150. So our bike runs from, you can put it down to a 140 or up to a 160. This is the 150 package.
Cool.
They're hover shock, and then also they're hard to get brakes, which are pretty sweet.
Those look pretty nice.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So we got Intend cranks as well, and then Envy wheels, the AM30s. Ergon SM Enduro saddle. We like speccing this on all of our bikes. It's just a really nice saddle. And then Wolf Tooth dropper. I think those are most of the major parts.
Yeah, dude.
It's a kit
bike.
combining kind of all the things we like to offer in our like sort of standard package. When you go on the site, we do all Wolf Tooth, like clamp, headset, and rear axle that come with the bike.
Okay.
And so this has just been a great partnership for us to kind of bring to life in the custom format.
And this available now?
It's available now.
And where can we find you?
Apogee.bike.
Rad. Thanks, dude.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm here with Sarah from Luxfly, and she's got some freeze-dried meals. How old's the company? What are you making? And tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Well, I grew up on an organic vegetable farm, so I've had the organic in my DNA for a while.
Yep.
So picking vegetables from a young age, growing up with happy animals. I've run 8 restaurants in Mexico and the United States.
Okay. Wow.
I moved into this because I actually couldn't use the type of products that I wanted to use at the restaurant and still make money. And so getting into this, we're small batch. Our prices are a little bit higher. We have whole foods inside here. There's no additives. The reason I started the company was because I took a backpacking trip, ate some food. They gave me a stomachache, and I was like, I don't like this. Checked it out. There's a lot of fillers in there. And so this is just 100% food. 7-year shelf life. Water activity is below 0.35. Rehydrates in 3 to 5 minutes instead of the 12 to 14. Also, because it's freeze dried, you can rehydrate with cold water, which it doesn't taste this good because it's not hot. But if you're in that circumstance and you just need to get something in you, I also eat the biscuits and gravy like crackers because it tastes so good. So you can take a piece of sausage cracker and eat it on the road if you just need some protein.
Yeah, talk to me about what offerings you have here.
So we have 28 different lines right now because we're a small company. We have the ability to be flexible.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Directions.
Sure.
Yep. We're USDA certified. We have many vegetarian options. Probably 40% are vegetarian. Almost everything is gluten-free because there's no additives. So if we put a soy sauce in there, it's going to be a wheat-free tamari. We have, I think, Mexican flavors is a genre that we're comfortable in. So we have a lot of things that
and that's just from your inspiration,
I lived in Mexico for many years, and that's kind of where I learned to cook, basically. So we do have biscuits and gravy and beef stroganoff and duck cassoulet and French onion soup and other fancy stuff too.
So what's the price points of most of these here?
So we just came out with a small bag, which is I call it an individual, which is this size. It depends on who you are, what you're doing. You know, if you're biking 50 miles or whatever.
What's the calories in the small? For the most part, I'm sure it's
range.
Different,
I don't have my glasses.
560 there.
560 there. We get into the 800 into the bigger packs. High protein in like the barbacoa and the cheeseburger casserole. But things like this are. This is like a comfort food bag. So if people ask like, what do you want on the trail? And they're like, we just want to come in and get a cheeseburger.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make something that's close to a cheeseburger. So individuals, and then the double 6 ounces for a big hearty meal.
Okay, and where can we purchase these?
Direct to consumer right now online at luxfly.com or luxflybasecamp.com. And then we're moving through, we're trying to just go into small businesses right now. So we're going direct to them. We have some Pacific Northwest, some in Moab, a couple in Arizona. But direct to consumer is the way to go.
Amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
And we ship it out in we get it there in 2 days. So if you're in a hurry, you need your stuff.
The procrastinators like me, that's helpful.
And it is because a lot of companies also have it's great if you're doing well, but we're trying really hard to not do the back order thing.
Yep.
So we have enough stock of everything in, and if we don't, we take it off. So.
Do you have any employees, or is it just you?
Oh yeah, I have some employees.
Sweet.
I'm growing. I mean, we're small, but I'm growing.
Cool.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, we have a warehouse in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
it's all,
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you saw in this video, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And if you want to help support us, support this YouTube channel, everything we're doing at BIKEPACKING.com, you can do so by joining the Bikepacking Collective. The Collective offers a lot of awesome perks, including industry discounts, monthly giveaways, and the twice yearly Bikepacking Journal. So to learn a little bit more about the Collective, you can click on the card in the top right corner here, or else find the link in the description below.